my baby gorillas! Let's see if we're live. Let's see if we're live. Come on in, Dave. Oh, we've got tons of people watching as well. Fantastic. Thank you very much for all tuning in, guys. Oh, there we are there. Who's that idiot? It's me. So, here we go, here we go. Right into this bad boy, shall we? Oh, dear. And listen, let me tell you, as I predicted, and I just want to thank you. So, hope your figures are going up. I reposted your video. People need to know the truth about Scotland, and you seem to know it. Great work, lad. Thank you very much, Andrew. You are an absolute treasure. And I don't like to be a smart ass about things. I really don't. It's not really my bag at all. But when I don't. I mean, I could have wished to be a great footballer or a great basketball player or a great actor. And the thing that I'm good at is politics. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, mind you. But I'm very good at politics. It's not. I'm not just okay. I'm very, very good at politics. Whereas some people are okay, and that's what when I'm going into the journalism, I'm not a great journalist. There's much better professional journalists out there. But because my understanding of politics is so great that me journalising on politics is very easy and it flows very, very naturally. So when I make predictions about things, I already understand the dynamics behind the greater picture. And thereby it makes it easy for me to disseminate people who are interested in politics but might not have that quite that sort of depth to it, shall we say. And I've been about in politics a lot longer. I'll explain in a maybe after the election what my background is in politics to give you an understanding. But when I make the predictions, and there's guys like Carol Benjamin who's excellent at giving overall talks on political theory, but he doesn't like to predict. But I do predict and I get it right. I consistently get it right. If you look at my back issues of on the Guerilla TV channel, I continually get the politics correct prior to actually happening. Not after, not even reporting the news, but I predict it and then it happens. I predict it and then it happens. So you're not getting the news here. You're getting a prediction of what's going to happen and then it comes true. We are all good at something. The trick is to find and live it. That's very true, mate. That's very true. Thanks, John. Well said, Andrew. Thanks. We all are into this, in this together. That's right, mate. And hopefully, not only am I trying to bring you the truth, which is unique with a politician as well, regardless of where the chips may fall, but I'm also predicting what is going to happen. I'm already telling you that this is going to happen before it happens, that this is happening before it happens. And you know I'm getting it right. That's why you're here. And that's why the Guerilla TV channel is expanding exponentially because I keep getting it right. It's not that I'm reporting the news to you. I'm telling you what's going to happen and then it happens. So, wait and we'll see what's going on here. This is unbelievable. This is an unbelievable day in this story. This is unbelievable. When we go through this, you'll be like, wow, is that really happening? Because we're getting to the end game of this. And it's all coming out and all the wheels are coming off the cart now for Nicola Sturgeon, which I predicted anyway. The people that are around her, because you've had to lie as the alleged conspirator, then and if it's worked in a conspiracy, the other people have then got to lie as well. And it reverberates because it's not just one person in the conspiracy, it then reverberates out. And then all it takes is one person to fold, and then the whole conspiracy comes tumbling down. The difficulty in this situation is that the people who are conspiring are the top echelons of society who are able to manipulate and control the narrative, control what the people are seeing, control the justice, control who's getting charged with what. But because the information is now coming out and it's leaking out and it's going here and it's going there, you can only stick your holes in so many your fingers in so many holes in the dike like that wee boy in Amsterdam. the people already are starting to know and understand that this is Alex Salmon keeps winning because it's been a setup, and Nicola Sturgeon keeps losing, and we're going to see how far that this actually goes down the rabbit hole today. And wait till you see this. The Sturgeon wagon is constantly bearing from crash down the ravine. Yeah, that's right. It's continually going down, and it's going to hit the rocks. It is going to hit the rocks. So let's crack on then, shall we? So this is from the BBC News. Alex Salmon set to appear before Holyrood inquiry next Wednesday. So it's all on. I told you yesterday they were looking at the wrong inquiry. The Linda Fabinini inquiry is not the most important one. It's the Hamilton inquiry. The Hamilton inquiry by James Hamilton QC is the one that's investigating Nicola Sturgeon for multiple breaches of the ministerial code. And if for some reason that he finds that she's not broken any of them, when we all know that that's not the case, we all know that already. We already know that she has broken on multiple occasions the ministerial code. We don't really need another judge to actually tell us because we already know it. Hopefully Sturgeon will crash before May. Well, it's the control the perception of the sheep. That's right. Well, that's correct. But although Alex is reporting to the Fabinini inquiry, I think he's already given his details or his whatever to the Hamilton inquiry. It's the Hamilton inquiry that's more important. And Nicola Sturgeon's submission to the Hamilton inquiry was not made public. So I would suggest that that was in the public interest and that should be made public. Alex Salmon set to appear before the Holyrood inquiry next Wednesday. Alex Salmon is to appear before MSPs. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? MSPs, the BBC understands. Sources say, oh for goodness sake, sources say that the former First Minister has accepted an invitation to appear before the committee investigating how the Scottish Government handled the harassment complaints against him. Evidence submitted by Mr Salmon is expected to be published early next week. The Scottish Parliament corporate body ruled on Thursday that it was possible to publish the submission. Mr Salmon had previously said he would not appear at the inquiry unless this was done, so that he could refer to it in his oral evidence. Did Sturgeon break the ministerial code? What is the Sturgeon-Salmon route all about? Could Alex Salmon bring down Nicola Sturgeon? The committee has previously refused to publish the document, citing legal concerns. The submission accused Mr Salmon's successor, Nicola Sturgeon, of misleading Parliament and breaching the ministerial code. Ms Sturgeon has repeatedly rejected accusations of wrongdoing. Nick Early. I understand Alex Salmon will appear before the MSPs on Wednesday. Sources say he has accepted the invitation to appear before the committee investigating how the Scottish Government handled allegations. The BBC is not responsible for the content of external sites. View original tweet on Twitter. The Holyrood inquiry is examining what went wrong with the Scottish investigation of 2 internal harassment complaints against Mr Salmon, or nothing went wrong. That's already a loaded supposition that something went wrong. So nothing may have went wrong. It might have actually went right, and there was no underlying problems to actually it was maybe orchestrated or set up. That's another way of saying it. Don't forget Alex Salmon's an innocent man. He's gone through a judicial hearing. With regards to this, the government conceded its process had been unlawful and paid the former SNP leader. So Nicola Sturgeon's government has already said that it's been unlawful. The former SNP leader more than £500,000 in legal expenses after he launched a judicial review action in the courts. Mr Salmon had initially been expected to appear before the inquiry on the 9th of February, but this was cancelled when the committee voted along party lines not to publish one of his written submissions. A majority of MSPs argued that there were legal reasons why the paper could not be published. Mr. Salmon insisted he could not live up to an oath to tell the whole truth without being able to refer to the document. Don't forget, there's been documents withheld under the FOI and the Wings Over Scotland, which I covered before. Hi, Guerilla man. Hiya, buddy. Love your work. Roll on Wednesday. Hopefully, Sturgeon will crash before May. Yes. Last week, Lady Dorian clarified the court order dating back to Mr. Salmon's criminal trial, in which he was acquitted of sexual assault charges, to ensure MSPs know what they can and cannot publish. The committee met again on Wednesday and decided by 5 votes to 4 to publish the submission, but also referred the matter to the Scottish Court. The committee met on Wednesday and decided by 5 votes to 4 not to publish the submission, but also referred the matter to the Scottish Parliamentary Corporate Body for a final decision. It decided on Thursday that, on balance, it is possible to publish the submission. The inquiry had already agreed to invite Mr. Salmon to appear on the 24th of February, and the former First Minister was said to have cleared his diary. Ho, ho, ho! This is where it's going to get spicy. Ms. Sturgeon is expected to appear the following week and has previously said she relishing, I'm sure she is relishing the prospect of putting her side across and rebutting the conspiracy theories. Oh, here, some rebuttals. We're all going to get rebutted. Do you want to see some more rebutting, guys? Here we go. Wings Over Scotland, our favourite publication. Let's have a wee look at what's the Wings Over Scotland. There we go. Let's make it bigger. Wings Over Scotland. The Scorched Earth. Oh my goodness, how exciting. Scorched Earth. Oh dear, dear, dear. Let's try and get this centered. Let's reduce the size a wee bit. There we go. Here we go. The Scorched Earth, posted on Wings Over Scotland on the February the 20th, 2021 by I think it's Reverend Stuart Campbell. Oh, big Rev. We've just been sent this report from today's meeting. So this is today. No, this is yesterday. This is yesterday's post. So so Saturday. We've just been sent this repost from today's meeting of the SNP National Executive Committee, which ended a short time ago. There's no official confirmation yet, but it comes to us from several independent sources, and we are sure it's true. The National Executive Committee have adopted a definition of transphobia. We're all scared of the trannies. Oh, the trannies. Obviously, with allegations that Nicola Sturgeon is a lesbian in a lesbian relationship with a French journalist, which is subject to further development. The Women's and Equalities Officer were sidelined, and the definition was brought forward by Fiona Robertson. So I'm now a woman. For future reference, I would like to be called Daphne. I'll be accessing all female areas, and I'm going to become transgender, because you certainly get more rights as a woman than you do as a guy. So I, from now on, would like to be called Daphne. I'm not going to get anything changed about me. I would just like people to accept me for being a woman from now on. Call me Daphne. Pushed through by Kirsten Oswald and Nicola Sturgeon. Nicola Sturgeon filibustered the meeting and talked for an hour. Can't imagine what she was talking about. Probably about price of cheese, and just filibustered it. Yes, I can't believe the price of cheese these days. It's unbelievable. I thought you were talking about transphobia. No, price of milk. Look over there. Blaming Joanna Cherry for the situation we're in. What situation? Joanna Cherry's obviously a lesbian. She was kissing her girlfriend. I think she was kissing her girlfriend in front of me. That was going to annoy me. Fantastic. Girls kissing other girls. 2 girls. Fantastic. Although I think Joanna is a bit of a misandrist with penisophobia, which is different. I don't think like Ruth Davidson or what Kezia Dugdale's a misandrous lesbian, but I think Joanna Cherry is a misandrous. I think she hates men. Love your work, Daphne. Ah, dear. Yeah, we're all going to be called Daphne now. We can all become women. So that's us, guys. We don't need to get anything changed. We can just all become women now, and they have to actually see us as women, regardless if we don't get anything chopped or changed. I am now officially a woman, and I will be expecting to access female safe spaces and compete in female sports. I reckon I'm going to break some records in whatever I choose to do, although I'm quite old there, mid-30s. And I think I'm going to start competing against females as being a female myself now. I think that's what I'm going to do and break some records. Blaming JC for the situation we're in. This is all unconstitutional as it has gone through conference. It's all unconstitutional as it's not gone through conference. So I can't imagine we authoritarian, we nippy is not doing things, just ramming through things. Oh my goodness, you can write it. Is that Daphne? Is that Daphne? Oh dear. Looks like this will lead to a witch hunt of all of Joanna Cherry and the Scotsman letters signatures. ANS and JC, of course, is Nicola Sturgeon and Joanna Cherry by name, Cherry by nature. Two alleged lesbian, well, one definite lesbian lawyer and another alleged lesbian lawyer fighting it out like a cat fight. Our understanding is that the elected women's convener and equalities convener, they don't want equality, they want equity now, they want preferential treatment, not like that. Now that I'm called Daphne, I'll be expecting the same preferential treatment that the equalities convener gets. We are not allowed any input at all on the definition. Oh my goodness, let me read that again. Our understanding is the elected women's convener and equalities convener. So I think that's two, or it could be one, could be two. We're not allowed any input at all in this definition. So we nippy, the authoritarian, is just ramming it through, not at the conference. This is my decision. I'm having the final word, and I'm going to talk about the price of milk for an hour to make sure we can ram this through. We were also informed that Fiona Robertson and Graham Campbell, supported by Nicola Sturgeon, argued that anyone found anyone found retweeting or tweeting or retweeting, even retweeting links to Wings Over Scotland should be expelled from the party. We're going to make the party smaller. If anybody does anything with Wings Over Scotland, you're getting expelled. That's you, you're out. We're becoming increasingly authoritarian. Nicola's going to draw a wee sort of moustache here. And she's wanting to be called the Führer. And she will expel anyone who's tweeting or retweeting Wings Over Scotland. Any retweets, retweets, you're out of the party. Although we don't yet know if any action arose from the discussion. Now confirmed that the wheels are coming off. To see where the wheels are coming off the actual bandwagon. I wonder what girls are going to say when I'm in a female-only space as a new woman with a beard and a dingaling. And it's going to be quite interesting, that conversation. What are you doing in here? I'm a woman. What do you mean you're a woman? What's that? That's my woman's bits. Why have you got a beard then? Wings Over Scotland should be expelled from the party, and although we don't know yet if any action arose from this discussion, now confirmed by Graham Campbell, a man so bright he thinks Mike Small is called Mike Smart. I don't know what that's all about. And Neil Mackay is called Neil Murray. Oh dear, that's so funny. Graham Campbell, I can't divulge what was said in the NEC, However, my own position accords with yours. Mike Smarts and Neil Maurice was in an alt-right fascistic platform, supporting, retweeting, or writing for is incompatible with left social democracy, civic nationalism, or socialist politics. So, remember, I told you that me Nippy is an Islamo-fascist, Islamo-Marxist, inter postmodernist, intersectional Marxist, also globalist. That's her political identity, and that's why the SNP should change their name, because it's a misnomer to say that the SNP are a national party, Scottish National Party. They're not a national party; they're a globalist party. LARPing is a nationalist party. Call me Ding-a-ling Daphne. Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. I don't know how the women are going to take it, mind you, isn't it? Especially the lesbians like Joanna Cherry. You might get away with some heterosexual women, but I don't. When you start to hit the lesbians, they've got penisophobia. Forget about it. They're going to hit the turfs. They're going to hit the roof if they see a penis. He can go F himself. BBC show. So here we go. I believe it should be made incompatible with the SNP membership. Oh, does he? So this guy Campbell is a bit of a fascist. He's decided who who's in the SNP and who's not. Oh, the First Minister. This is this guy Campbell here. Just in case that's this guy here. That's this fellow. He's obviously the new leader of Scotland that nobody ever voted for. And he's telling you who should be in the party and who shouldn't be in the party. I think I'd be running out SNP as fast as possible. Let's keep going. The First Minister made a rare appearance at the National Executive Committee meeting because he doesn't usually appear. Too busy trying to set up Alex Salmond, allegedly, seemingly for the sole purpose of forcing the definition through, because she's an alleged lesbian, a member of the LGBTQ alphabet people community, and scowling menacingly, like that, like the witch in the, what do you call him, Blackadder. Oh, that's a baby, Mister, that baby. He's scowling menacingly at the dissenters. I think it's great. I think this is great. I can't wait to identify more as a woman. I might get a dress. Will I get a dress? It's when I'm trying to get into the female only changing rooms, it's going to be a problem. My name's Daphne. What are you, Ding-a-ling Daphne, apparently? He just lost 1,500 views. He just lost 1,500 views. Oh, dear. Reed Nippy's growing to throw Leslie Evans and his wife Morel to the wolves. Don't worry, mate, that's coming. Dave, you're too fast for me, Davey. Too fast for me. I'm just coming to that. It's all, I'm building it up. It's getting more exciting as it goes on. That's why more and more people are joining this. It's getting very exciting. This is me just building it up. This is the background. 30% of members of the NEC are not elected by conference. Oh, that's good, isn't it? What are they doing there then? And Fiona Robertson was, of course, voted out by members last year, but she's still there. And Wee Nippy's authoritarian, lesbian, feminist, Marxist, postmodernist, Islamo-Marxist political party. It's into Islam, who want to kill gays, although they're all gay. Oh, come on. But it appears to be regularly slithering back in a substitute for representatives from unelected affiliated groups. Who are you? Oh, are you part of the NEC? Oh, no. I'm in a group, a communist group that wants to bring in certain communist ideals. But you've not been elected to anything. Yeah, I know, but Nicola invited me along. She's not really into elections unless she gets her way. So it's easier for her just to ruled by groups who are just invited along. It appears, I might start a group and see if I get a lot invited along. It appears the party no longer cares about even a pretense of democracy. Oh dear, oh that is brilliant and completely on the money. Let me just read that again when I stop laughing. Oh, the Wings over Scotland's the best, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I don't like democracy. I just want to be a dictator. It appears the party no longer cares about even a pretense of democracy, so long as it can ensure its current ideology and postmodernist Marxist ideology gets pushed to the fore and sustained if when the First Minister is brought down by the Alex Salmond scandal, as now seems all but inevitable. All but inevitable. You heard it here first. I told you months ago, guys. I was completely. Let me just read that again. It appears the party no longer cares about a pretense of democracy, so long as it can ensure its current ideology is sustained if or when the First Minister is brought down by the Alex Salmond scandal, as now seems all but inevitable. All but inevitable. I told you months ago, guys, months ago this was going to happen. The national newspapers is ragging me Wings over Scotland. They must be over the target. Yeah, I think it's the Guerilla TV channel that's over the target. But no, Wings over Scotland has done some excellent journalism and excellent research and been really on the ball on a number of issues. So I would like to pay credit to them as an organisation for being on top of things as well. I was right from a political point of view because that's what. But they've actually done the donkey work and the leg work to actually go down, ask FOIs, make sure this was all documented. Done some good stuff with Craig Money as well, and I think they support Alex as well on this. And I think they knew because I'm not in the SNP and I'm not just now in any political party, but I know all the heavy political hitters from a majority of parties. They certainly know me. I don't have links to them, so I don't like how get inside information from them. But I do obviously know them. I just because obviously I know politics as well as I do. I can understand how where it all works. A bit like if you think about like something like Sherlock Holmes, I already politically piece it all together, and that's why I get it. I don't really even need to do the FOIs because I understand what's going on before it actually happens. The national I would use for Buckrow, Derek, my dustbin identifies as a member of the SNP. Ah! Oh, we can all just identify. We can just identify as anything now. We could just walk up to Parliament and say, "Yeah, I identify as a member of that committee." If a man can identify as a woman, I could identify as the First Minister. I can just identify as anything. Full of rubbish. I was full of rubbish. It's funny though. Same for seen in on Twitter, comedy, call me fag. Yes. So listen, so here let's keep going, It certainly looks where the you know if it is it certainly looks like Joanna Cherry's Cherry by name, Cherry by nature's days in the party are numbered, along with several others. So they're trying to get rid of the Salmond constituency, and obviously it's like full of efforts now. I mean, the SNP on a man to man. If you were like at a football match and you supported the football team, and you were going and watching these individuals and they weren't playing very well, and you had an understanding of it, that's like me with politics. I don't just say, "Oh, this is my team." I examine the individual. and see if this person's up to it. Now, you could probably get rid of 90% of the, probably even higher than that, of the SNP MSPs, and you wouldn't be really losing anything. I think somebody like Kenny McCaskill is a very good and competent individual. But Joanna Cherry, you're not going to miss Joanna Cherry. Joanna Cherry's an intelligent woman, don't get me wrong. But our politics have got a lot to be desired. And that's the issue with Joanna Cherry. She's not an unintelligent woman, she's very intelligent, but she's not a particularly nice person, having had to deal with her. The days of the party are numbered along with several others. So we're now seeing the split in the SNP. This is going to split. So if you kick out a bunch, that bunch can go and set up their own political party, move to another party. There is another political party. I think some connected with the Wings over Scotland, and there's something else actually happening in the background. Now, what they could do is a reverse takeover and take back over the party, the SNP. They could do that, a reverse takeover, or they could all just leave and join another party, the Scottish Libertarian Party, because the Scottish Libertarian Party believe in an independent Scotland, not to be governed under the EU. So any Scottish nationalists who believe in actual independence could join the Scottish Libertarian Party. They also believe in freedom of speech and freedom of individual actions as well. Well, unlike the SNP, who are increasingly becoming authoritarian and don't even like democracy. Oh my goodness. What's the best that Nicola Sturgeon's going to start goose stepping? The people from the Judea, the people in front of Judea, the Judean. That's true. And I know, and both we that wee thing with Sturgeon. I'm not saying that word. Oh dear, how funny is this? We would advise anyone who plans involving Scotland Scotland being independent in the next decade to reconsider them as an urgent matter. Yeah, so I think we're going to see this is going to be the high watermark of the SNP. And the SNP are now, they're either going to split, or they're going to, the people are going to join the Scottish Libertarian Party. I told you weeks ago that there's Count Dankula, who I think is going to stand in for the SNP, has caused a mass exodus of SNP members into the Scottish Libertarian Party, who believe in an actual independent Scotland out with the EU. So all those people are starting to move to the Scottish Libertarian Party. So we're seeing a schism there. So that's one schism, and there might be another schism with other. So there'll be a rival like SNP. Oh dear. SNP should change the name to the Islamo-Marxist Party. That would be better. We would advise anyone with any plan, the globalist Islamo-Marxist Party. We would advise anyone with any plans involving Scotland being independent in the next decade to reconsider them as an urgent matter. The appendix, here we go. Oh, what's going on? No, stop that. We believe the woolly semi-literate gibberish below is we believe the woolly semi-literate gibberish below is the definition adopted. Oh, come on, stop looking at me here. Oh, here we go. This is going to be great. Transphobia. Oh, there's been Chinese for years, man. Oh, I hate Chinese. Oh, that's terrible. You've got transphobia. Sounds like an illness. Can you get cream for it? Can you get... I've got a dose of the transphobias again. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Just go down to the doctors and they'll give you some cream. Oh, I'm the Derek Porter formerly, obviously. Although the cult have been woken up. Hamza Sharia Bill, that's exactly what it is, mate. That's Hamza Useless's Sharia Bill, that's correct. Chump ship, yeah, get out where you can. Transphobia, let's get this definition of nonsense as well. Transphobia, discrimination or prejudiced language or actions related to someone's actual or perceived gender identity or expression. So if I walk in like this into a female changing room and say, "Oh, what's your problem? Stop being transphobic," I'll get you arrested. Then I'll be able to access any female changing room based on the fact that they cannot discriminate against my gender identity and where I want to get changed. Is that correct? Can't wait. That's going to be great. I can't wait to hear the conversations when I stroll up to the female change rooms. Hi there. How you doing? How you doing in here? Guys are next door. I recognise my name's Daphne, and I'm identify as a woman. Although I've not had any changes, and I don't appreciate you criticising my gender identity. So beat it and let me in, or I'll have you arrested. Alright, what? So if you criticise me and my new feminine beard on my feminine lady pants, although I've still got a ding-a-ling, that you can't discriminate with my gender identity now that my name's Daphne, ding-a-ling Daphne. So get him away, I'll beat it and let me in. No more transforms, pedos in disguise. Probably does, aye. Adopt the following non-legal binding working definition of transphobia. Discrimination or prejudice language or actions relating to someone's actual or perceived gender identity. I told you I can get away with this. Don't bother. This is going to be great. What do you mean you're not letting me in? Get him away. Stop being transphobic. The gender expression of or to trans people more generally. We'll all be trans. We'll be trans women. That's what's going to happen. The worst people are going to get it are the women to trans men, because they're going to be in a real problem. Are they going to be coming in the guys' changing rooms? No guy's going to be bothered. Oh, there comes a woman into the guys' changing rooms identifying as trans but still got her lady bits. Fantastic, let her in. Is she got any pals? Oh, is he got any pals? Fantastic. Whereas the women will be barricading themselves. Joanna Cherry will be thrusting herself with the turfs against the door to prevent them coming in. I don't want to see a penis. Oh, Joanna Cherry's lost the argument. Me Nippy's now got what she wants. Me accessing female changing rooms, calling myself Daphne. Ladies scrub my back and leave the front alone. You should get yourself jailed as Ding-a-ling Daphne, and then I'm not saying that word your way through your sentence. Hello, ladies. Hi there. Teresa. Oh my God, that's absolutely hilarious. Contemporary examples of transphobia. I don't know any well, I do know trans people. I don't have a regular day-to-day interaction with people who I think are transgender. And apparently, like, there's one way to tell, and like trans people can't, if they're male to female, female guys with a penis chopped off, they can't get moist, shall we say, tactfully as I can. So that's going to be, I'll be like Crocodile Dundee to make sure it's a proper woman. That'll be the new way to welcome each other. Is that a dude? Is that it? That's a bloke in a dress. You should get yourself jailed. Taylor the trans. Oh dear. What was that? What was those wee choo-choos called? The fat controller. Thomas the tank engine. You get Tracy the tranny engine. That's gonna be great. Oh dear. What's that? If I cut my sausage off, will the SNP give me an increase in benefits? Oh dear. Are we good? Joanna Cherry doesn't like sausages. Any real transgender should have the next law will be we all have to sit down to pee. Oh dear. Oh, that is so funny. Taking into account the overall context, including but not limited to. All right, they're going to expand us. All right. So we're all going to be, well, the fortuitous thing is I don't know very many trannies. So I don't really come into a day-to-day meeting with them. I don't have a problem with trans. I don't have a problem with gay people. I don't have a problem with trans people. It's not really an issue for me on a day-to-day basis because I don't meet them. So unless I meet them and I don't realise, maybe they're passable trans. Stop talking like this. My name's Daphne. All right, Daphne. How you doing? Alex Salmon went to his transit Keen Blackford is in a fat control. Oh dear. Hate crimes such as physical or sexual assault, threatening behaviour. Oh, threatening. Oh dear, threatening behaviour. Now that's just completely open. I didn't threaten anybody. Oh no, it was threatening behaviour, but I didn't do anything. No, but I felt threatened. Oh well, that's a catch-all 22, isn't it? Criminal damage of property. Must be talking about Antifa. Gender reassignment, employment, or service provision discrimination, bullying, abuse, harassment, or intimidation of people being trans or supporting trans equality and inclusion. As I said, I'm going into women's changing rooms. Hello, ladies. How are we? Good to see you all. I'm your local trans. Oh dear. Oh, that's so funny. Deliberately outing someone as being trans without their consent. What? Oh man, this is taking it too far. This is definitely going too far. I am deliberately misgendering someone. There's some guy with his penis cut off trying to call himself Daphne. Get out. Deliberately using trans persons' previous names, dead naming instead of or alongside their current name without their consent. This is Tracy, used to be called Tam. Dehumanising prejudice language about trans people, accusing wider trans people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single trans person or group. So if the trans person goes into the female prison, like I'm definitely going to be when I get 7 years for calling Islam a child rapist ethical, that I'll be in the female change room, and if there's any sexual toings and throwings there, we're not allowed to blame all trans people. It's only the one trans person that does it. My friend had gender reassignment. He was over the moon when the doctor said he made a complete rainbow unicorn land is doomed under this mob. Completely correct. Still game is returning, and Bobby's Tavern is now a lesbian safe space. Joanna Cherry, I'll tell Joanna Cherry. I can use Sturgeon coming out as a trans to become the world's first trans leader. I'm going to be the first trans leader in Scotland, although wee Nippy definitely thinks Wee Nippy's definitely going for that as well. As a whole trans person, the same as. Oh dear. Making miscellaneous. Miscellaneous conspiracy theories or stereotypes, mendacious allegations about trans people. Oh dear, it's just not something that comes up in my day-to-day business. This doesn't come up. Transphobic language and actions are not acceptable. Who says and can be unlawful? Piss off. It's may be appropriate to use general trans equality awareness. Yeah, some mind control. Oh, listen, the way you are thinking isn't correct. We'll just take you to trans equality awareness raising interventions to try and resolve a problem at an early stage. It might be not the fact the person's trans, it may just be or he or he, whatever, might be just an asshole. Where there is no indication of malicious intent. However, employers and providers of goods, facilities, and services, include political parties, have a responsibility to uphold equality, human rights, law, and deal effectively with complaints of discrimination and harassment. As I said, if the person underlying is okay as an individual, um, then I don't really care if some guy or woman address. Don't really care. It's not really something. But what I do care about is getting mandatory speech by being hippie and alleged Islamo-Marxist lesbian cult that seems to be running the show. I do object to that. I don't really have a problem with the trans community, to be brutally honest. This includes, and especially now they've got me access to female-owned spaces. I love hanging about with women. I'm a massive women lover. So any opportunity to hang about and have a chat with women is great for me. This includes using suspensions and disciplinary investigations with potential outcomes, including written warnings or dismissal. Wrong think, you're getting sacked, guys. That's it. Oh my goodness. Extreme cases the police may be involved for wrongthink. For example, where there has been public disorder, targeted harassment, stalking charges. Well, I think that's correct anyway. Criminal damage or property threats and attempted violence. Quite agree with that anyway. You should be doing that to any tranny. But what also has to happen is heterosexual people need protected. I would not consent to having any sort of sexual interaction, kissing, or any sort of sexual interaction with a trans woman to man, man to woman, man to woman, woman. Some gay guy with his penis cut off. That's just me as a gay guy with his penis cut off. Not interested. And to me, my rights or my sexuality have to be protected by law just as much as the trans person's rights to allow them to live the life. If gay and bisexual men want to go with a trans person, that's fine by me. It's not. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem if a passable trans person who's a gay guy with his penis cut off goes near me, then that becomes a problem. So that's where these sort of events might come in by not actually the person knowing that the person is trans and them trying to deceive the heterosexual person into whatever situation actually comes about because of that. In cases where transphobia discrimination falls out of the remit of what has been specified in this document, then the parties should seek consultation from an officiate government funded LGBT alphabet people body, especially bodies such as Stonewall Equality Network and the Scottish Trans Alliance. Don't know any of these things, but I suspect they're all probably left wing shills. So that's the underlying quasi Marxist shilling for it, these groups. Appendix 2, we have the official minutes taken from the SNP website confirming the definition was adopted. With groups, people who weren't even elected. The decision of the National Executive Committee on the 20th of February 2021. The NEC agreed that our priorities are the forthcoming. Now, I would love to know from you guys, from you guys, would you have accepted this as definitions? Would you think that this is acceptable from your point of view as the populace? Because this looks to me like a wee cabal is now dictating to everybody what they should and shouldn't think. And maybe people from the LGBT community are now dictating to the majority what they should and shouldn't say, and what they can and can't say, what they can and can't think, which I'm completely, being a libertarian, I'm completely opposed to. So I'm not into them telling me what I can, and I will not comply. And if it'll get worse for them than it will for me. The decision of the National Executive Committee on the 20th of February, the NEC agrees that our priorities are the forthcoming election and securing independence through a second referendum. Although we're into promoting LGBT rights above heterosexual rights just now, even though we've got a declining birth rate and a declining population. I don't know what the LGBTQ community, alphabet people community, are doing to increase the birth rate in Scotland that are holding elected office just now, or if they're not, even if they're not holding elected office. As long as they're not announced, these trans sports people are just cheating, selfish bastards that can't make it in their own men's sports. I'm a woman. I see myself as a woman. I think it's fine to be a woman, and yeah, I'm looking forward to competing amongst the girls. I love hanging about the girls. Anyway, I love girls. People who identify as an aircraft carrier should be sent to the Gulf. 98% of men are bigger because we don't want to date a trans chick with a dingling. I thought the alphabet people was a type of sandwich, lettuce, cabbage, bacon, tomato, and cucumber. I'm a big supporter of the LGBTQ community. I've got a lot of friends. I'm gay. They're okay with me. Did you hear Tony Blair is spearheading government plans for vaccination passport? Yeah, well, as a globalist show, what would you expect? No, I don't know what you're noping at. Identity politics is mind control agenda. It's targeting towards young minds. It causes social schisms. That's right. I had a girl come up. I was on a film set, and a girl unironically came up to me and said, I'm a communist." I was okay. That's a bit random. So I then tried to just briefly explain to her that 100 million people have died under communism, and she wasn't. She was like, "That's only under Stalin." And I was like, "No, it's not. It's under every. There's been people murdered under every communist regime." I never said that to her. I just let her be delusional. And I then said, but under what do you call it, Engels, they advocated for the genocide against the Scots. She went like that. Oh, that's just a bit of writing that. So I was like, oh, very good. That was the cornerstone of communism. Urine Ben Moscow warned us about the communist infiltration. Of course there is. Of course there is. And if we don't sit on it, it's going to cause problems. So, campaign rally will be held online. The NEC, I don't think I've missed something here. The NEC agreed the priorities are the forthcoming election and securing independence through a second referendum, but promoting gay rights and transvestites is more important than increasing the birth rate or doing anything to promote heterosexuality or develop our own communities. Leaking the misinformation hindered these aims. A campaign rally will be held online in late March, open to all members. Well, that's good. That's good to them, isn't it? Open to all members now, rather than the people that Nicola Sturgeon just picked who are members. A campaign rally will be held online in late March, open to all members, setting out our message for the election. Yeah, we're going to promote homosexuality at the expense of heterosexuality. And although we've got a declining birth rate, don't worry, we're just going to replace it by foreigners. Very good, Nicola. We're the Scottish National Party. Oh, come on. And will be the largest online event of its kind. Oh, I'm sure that's going to be riveting. A working definition of transphobia was agreed to help members in the first instance to consider their own behaviour. Yeah, you consider your own behaviour and what to deliver similar definitions in response to homophobia and misogyny, but not misandry, because women are perfect. Women are perfect. Women are absolutely perfect. That's why I'm one, because we do not need to have any definitions. Women don't say anything bad, never do anything wrong. Don't do anything wrong, don't say anything bad. It's only men, which hence why I am now called Daphne, Dingaling Daphne, in relation to homophobia. And I am a lesbian, trans man to woman, and I am only interested in women as a lesbian. So I'm also a trans homosexual. No, I couldn't be a misogynist because now I'm a trans guy. And further definitions is being developed. So I would like in future to be called Daphne, and I am now officially a lesbian, which makes me part of the alphabet people, which is fantastic. And I won't be subject to any misogyny rules. And I can self-identify as a woman, as a lesbian woman. And so that's me taking right out the equation. Fantastic job done. Bob's your uncle. We when the new world order take over, there won't be any minorities. They want to reduce the population to 50 million. I think it's 50 million. There is, or 500 million or something, but it is a dramatic reduction in the overall amount. So it will lead to genocide for whoever's going to get it. The people who are left are going to have to are going to have to be very good. So I mean, I wouldn't be giving up your guns anytime soon to the establishment. Let's put it that way. The 2021 budget was agreed, including 1.5 million Hollywood election spend, 600,000 the financial year from the referendum preparations, plus a new headquarters staff to support local government and complaints processes overseen by the National Secretary. There was also agreed on a full interim recommendation of the governance review group, which has secured input from a significant number of members on communications and support for activists and office bearers. An online campaign rally, we still are beating heart, but the second last item is rather interesting. The SNP don't have anything like 2.1 million in the bank. In fact, they don't have a 20th of that is ready cash, and their total net assets is only 272,000. Oh my goodness, that's not very much. You're not getting much done with that. No wonder they're linking the postal votes directly to the SNP site. What are you saying? 500 mils the Georgia Guidestones. Yeah, I've seen that. 15, is it 500 million? Yeah, that's what I thought it was as well. 500 million. Sustainable. Right, so that's me done with that. Wings of Scotland, well done, Wings of Scotland. Here we go. On to the next shit show. Don't blame MSPs who are trying to get at Sturgeon, Salmon Truth, Brian Wilson. So don't blame MSPs who try to get at the Sturgeon, Salmon Truth, Brian Wilson. With a little help, what's going on here? With a little help from Lady Doran in the Court of Session. When is this? This is yesterday. The Scottish Parliament presiding officer, the barriers of obstructiveness. Oh, we're open and transparent. We're not being obstructive. Open and transparent. Nothing to see here. No. We're open and transparent. Might finally be broken down by Brian Wilson, I think former MP for the Labour Party, and this is Saturday, 20th of February 2021. Surprised the Scotsmen have not got me to write for them again. The Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, accompanied by Alex Salmond in Aberdeenshire, ahead of the 2017 general election. What's the Beach Boys got to do with this? Getting good vibrations about this article. It's often said that this affair is too complicated for the hoi polloi. That's you, that's all about you, to understand, so it's not break. Well, you guys all tune into the Guerilla TV channel. You're already ahead of the curve, not behind it. Breaking to popular awareness, however, it is only complicated because those who, with a vested interest in obfuscation, have made it so. Open and transparent, nothing to see, nothing to see. We're not giving out any information, nothing to see here. Open and transparent. Perhaps the barrier will now be cracked. What should have happened months ago will, it seems, through nothing, though nothing can be taken at face value, be permitted. Salmon will be heard. Sturgeon will be heard. A view will be formed. Oh, come on. What could be simpler? There has nothing. There has never been any. This is in the Scotsman. There has never been any prospect of complainants in the criminal case against Mr. Salmon being identified. I think they should be identified now, and it remains a criminal offence to do so. I think that needs to be broken, and we need to find out if there's been an orchestration by this. You should lose your anonymity if you fail to actually land the case against the complainer. That means that anybody who lies can now be protected after the lie. That was always a strong argument, as various legal enmities pointed out. The Committee on the Scottish Government handling of the harassment complaints was not set up to retry the criminal case or impinge upon the rights of the complainant. Conflating the two, as someone might tell BBC, is a ruse with the complainants used as a shield against other questions. Yes, very good, Brian. More prosaically, the committee was established because the Scottish Government squandered large amounts of your money, defending an application for judicial review of its processes, which it had allegedly been told in advance it could not win. So they were prepared to throw away your money. The same SNP a-holes that told us to trust Salmon, he will be a First Minister in independence, are now saying he's a liar and a beast. That's right. The reason it could not win was that employed methods of internal investigation that were, in Lord Pentland's words, which merit a place in the lexicon of Scottish law, tainted by apparent bias, or we could say it another way, conspiratorial. The committee therefore had two questions to address. First, not whether, unless Lord Pentland's judgment was being questioned, but that tainted process was deployed. Second, at what point ministers were told they couldn't win the case and should therefore cut their losses. It is crucial to note that both could have been answered with ease months ago. The civil servants could have given credible evidence and admitted to the flawed process. The council's opinion could have been released at twice instructed by the Scottish Parliament. Don't forget the Scottish Parliament asked for it twice, the opinion of the legal counsel, and they didn't give them it. They had to force them on the third occasion to hand over the advice. The committee could have reported, which again I think breaks the ministerial code right there. Because Nicola Sturgeon went through with the prosecution even though she couldn't win, or she was told she wouldn't win. None of these things happened. Dates were changed. Incredible evidence was amended. Council's opinion was and continues to be withheld. For anyone in these circumstances to blame the minority MSPs on the committee for pursuing the task allotted to them is shameful and self-serving. Which takes me to the BBC's much trumpeted exclusive last weekend, in which one of the complainants in the criminal case, not very obliquely, the not very obliquely, the said MSP for politicising the committee's work, which was more traumatic than the criminal trial. What's he going to do, huh? Now, Sturgeon won't be the First Minister in the Indie Scotland. I don't think she'll be the First Minister very soon, Hugh. For much longer, to be brutally honest with you. I think I said 3 months ago, so that's 12 weeks that she'll be out in a matter of weeks. So 12 weeks, and it's probably going to go for another month, but I think she's finished. Emotive stuff, but in my view, this was a serious misjudged piece of broadcasting. Wait, I'm about to tell you, it's going to get worse now. On today's Sun, we'll just get to that in a minute, but it's now worse. Now, the whole situation for Nicola Sturgeon has just exploded. But in my view, this was a serious misjudged piece of broadcasting which played into the narrative set by Ms. Sturgeon in advance of her appearance before the committee. That had been due to take place last Monday. Again, she refused to go the day after the broadcast. This gives rise to two questions I would like to hear BBC Scotland answer. First, what was the provenance of this interview? Did they approach the individual? Did she volunteer? Or was she offered up by the spin doctors surrounding the First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon? No breach of confidentiality would be involved in a straight answer. Very good questions, Brian, very good. Second, is she independent of current political shenanigans within the SNP? Another excellent question. Is she one of the conspirators? Which we all think now is a great possibility. If so, fine. If not, viewers should have been told. If that was not possible on the grounds of self-identification, then it was another reason why there should have been no such highly pejorative broadcasting. And that's completely correct. This whole affair has long since gone beyond the bounds of Salmon versus Sturgeon, a conflict in which the fish wars, in which I'm entirely neutral. Rather, it is about the whole way in which Scotland is run, and every tentacle of power and control intertwined. Neither should we lose sight of the fact that an individual's freedom is at stake, which should only be determined in a court of law, not on the BBC, which should be getting privatised. If the identity of a person ever matters more than the basic principle, we really are beginning to run from within a moral vacuum, and that's completely correct. And there's the bananas of men that are about to be whipped off as we all become ladies. So that's, it gets worse. Want to see this? Well, here we go. Oh, there, give us a kiss. There's Alex being tactile. Hi there. Hi, Nicola. Oh, give us a kiss, you big lesbo. Oh, no, Alex, stop doing that. That's being inappropriate again. I was just giving you a cuddle. Alex. Come on. The Sunday Times, fantastic. Sunday Times, that's today's Sunday Times, 21st of February 2021. Fantastic. Let's see what the Times are saying. Imagine being a fly in the wall of a political couple home life. Taking a crap is probably more enjoyable. Especially if it was a hedgehog. Nicola Sturgeon faces fresh claims over dates she knew of Alex Salmond allegations from Jason Allardyce. Sunday, February 21st, 2021. Sunday Times. Nicola Sturgeon is facing fresh questions over whether it is plausible that she did not know for 5 months about allegations made to her government against Alex Salmond. The First Minister is under scrutiny over whether she misled the public by saying she only found out on the 2nd of April 2018 about the internal probe into her predecessor. Oh, the Scottish Sun, which we're just about to come up next, All very exciting. In fact, we won't do that next. I'll change the positions of this. We'll come to that after, because we'll build it up. The Scottish Sun on Sunday reports, basically the new news of the world, that for a month after the first allegation was raised about salmon around November the 7th, 2017, there was no rule banning sturgeon from being told about it. A second accusation from another woman following 2 weeks later, and sturgeon could have been told within the rules from the further fortnight. Now, that's not written very well, but we're going to go on in the Scottish Sun what this means. And this is devastating. Remember, I told you the 4 women that were going to this it's not nippy picker. Remember, I told you the 4 women who were involved in the alleged orchestration of the fake sexual assault allegations. One of them was Leslie Evans. I told you they would all have to be sacked. Here we go. So what's this from? This is from, I like to give it this is more from the Times and the Sunday Times. Let's see this. Make sure you help these guys subscribe for a limited access across all devices. Oh, here we go. There's Leslie Evans. And remember, I told you Leslie Evans was one of the people who was going to have to go. Leslie Evans, head of the civil servants, is facing criticism over handlings. Evans oversaw the introduction of a new complaints procedure. The procedure, which went up against UK government advice, allowed allegations. Oh, come on. I'm going to start that again. Leslie Evans, head of civil servants in Scotland, facing criticism over her handling of harassment complaints against Alex Salmond. Evans oversaw the introduction of a new complaints procedure. The procedure, which went against the UK government advice, allowed allegations against former ministers to be considered. So they've deliberately changed the rules to prevent. Don't assume the gender. 4 women, don't assume the gender. Well, I certainly won't be assuming this one's gender. The procedure which went against the UK government advice allowed allegations against former ministers to be considered. So they brought in new rules deliberately to allow Alex Salmond to be investigated. I mean, really, they think we're stupid. So they've deliberately brought in these rules to Me Too Alex Salmond and change the rules because of this. The court ruled the process unlawful. Taxpayer had to pay Alex Salmond's legal costs totalling £512,250 in a judicial review of your money. Evans was also criticised for reporting the complaints of 2 women to prosecutors against their wishes.
So you've confirmed you took the decision that these complaints should be referred to the police. Was the First Minister informed of this decision?
I'm not sure. She will have been, but I'm pausing because I'm not sure what the procedure was, but she will have been informed of that, yes.
Did you inform her?
I don't remember informing her. This is 3 years ago. It may well have been me. It may well have been the Lord Advocate, but it could have been a number of people
perhaps
involved.
Check and come back to the committee?
I can check and see if we can find
that. That would be very helpful.
Evans testified. Oh, hold on. Evans testified at the committee 4 times. in her second appearance, she repeatedly said she could not recall. She could not recall. Don't remember. Can't remember what's going on. Don't even know where I am. A bit like Mr. Morell. It's I can't. Oh, Nicola Sturgeon as well. She couldn't remember anything either. Can't remember. Don't know what's happening. Nothing to hide. Nothing to hide. Just can't remember. In her second appearance, she repeatedly said she could not recall or know the answer to questions being asked. Oh well, but totally openly and transparently. Perjure yourself for the good of freedom. Perjure yourself for the good of freedom. You don't remember. She apologised for giving wrong information. No, sorry about that. Sorry, openly and transparent, wrong info. Sorry, oopsie. She initially claimed she was unaware that special advisors play a role in government's response to the judicial review. She sounds as bad as that thing in that's doing the press conferences under Weekend at Bernie President Joe Biden. Looking around the models.
Can I ask what role, if any, special advisors had in relation to the judicial review, and whether the skills of special advisors may have been sought in relation to the judicial review?
None that I'm aware of.
Yes, I'm not sure I can really help with that question.
So are you both saying that, as far as you're aware, there weren't no special advisors were involved in any part of the judicial review?
I wouldn't see a natural role for. I'm not saying that there weren't conversations with special advisors. I couldn't possibly say that on oath, but I'm really not aware of it. No, it's not an obvious locus for a special advisor.
Later evidence connected her evidence. She said special advisor Liz Lloyd, another one of the conspirators, was involved in 3 meetings with lawyers advising the government. Forgot about that. Oopsie. One of the meetings was attended by Evans and Nicola Sturgeon and Liz Lloyd. Oh, dear. She can't say much, can she? No, she can't. I told you, if you're part of the conspiracy, this bit here, lying character, can't say anything incriminating under oath. She's corrected her evidence a few times after we nipper looked over. Is that the magpies? Oh, well done. Oh, the magpies. Is that code for Nicola Sturgeon? Oh, 2 magpies. One for sorrow, one for joy. Oh. Is that you, Nicola? Yeah, that looks all above board, doesn't it? Nothing to see here. Oh, no, nothing. What else, stupid? I don't know what's going on. Oh, my goodness, what's going on? This Mandarin Leslie Evans. Faces sack. Oh, so let's just analyse this. We've got Leslie Evans now facing the sack. I'm sure Liz Lloyd's not going to be far behind her. We've got Nicola Sturgeon's husband being charged with perjury. And this is only the start. And we've not even had Alex Salmon's actual evidence come out yet. Or the actual returns of the underlying inquiries into this. Both inquiries. Once the collation of the actual evidence from the inquiries. They're starting to crumble already before it's even come out. Oh my goodness, the guillotine is swinging. Oops, I forgot. Oh no, what's going on? I don't remember. We were all out drinking some bookers that night before. And there's that Greek stuff that blows your head off. Can't remember a thing. Conveniently, just when Alex Salmond, the former First Minister, is allegedly set up with fake sexual allegations. I can't remember anything about that. Can't remember. Openly and transparently can't remember. Oh no, I can't remember. Yes, that's right. She was, Liz Lloyd was at 3 meetings. Alleged husband Esther the Queen. Alleged husband Peter the Queen. Can't wait for the comedies. The comedies finally. Can't wait for this comedies finally. I don't know what that was, right? Anyway, so here we go. So she faces the sack because that's what happens when you tell the truth. When you tell the truth and it's open and transparent, then you face the sack. Oh my God. Yeah. I think all the wee roads are leading to Nicola Sturgeon having set up, or Alex Salmond set him up. That's where it's all going. So Liz Evans, one of the conspirators, faces the sack over Salmond tobacco. The head of Scotland's civil servants, well, obviously the head of Scotland's civil servants doing a fantastic job now experiencing the sack because because of this. Only allegation Salmond is going to get accused of is turning the SNP around. Yeah, well, that's true. He did do that. That's one of the questions I'd like to ask him because he stormed out when he was a young man. Stormed out the SNP. Maybe because he turned it to the right or the left, they actually started to win. So it could have been a double whammy in the fact that he turned it to the left. They started winning, and yet now we've seen the product of that, which is Nicola Sturgeon, his basically Darth Vader to his Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we're all reaping the whirlwind that is Nicola Sturgeon. Peter Morell's better start rehearsing for next year's panto. Oh dear. I have loads of friends all over the US, and they know about the hate from the commie SNP punks. There's a boy in McDonald who did a great song. Let's just play this guy's. I think he's obviously of Scottish descent with a name like McDonald. Let's see this. Going to play a wee bit of this guy to publicise him because he was meeting a. Oh, there it is, yeah. There's also Officer Tatum. So I'll play Officer Tatum because there was Officer Tatum, great, lovely fella, this guy, that I got it from anyway. So might as well publicise Officer Tatum. Tatum Pool.
So everybody that's just joining, if you just jumped on here and you're a late bird, we're going to watch the Tom McDonald fake woke video together. And then I'm going to give my review, my reaction. You're going to watch it live. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a review and another reaction for the other folks. But y'all going to get the first reaction tonight. Are you ready? All right, I think y'all ready. People on the podcast, you ain't going to be able to see it, but you'll be able to hear it. So let me get my camera right. All right, we got it pulled up on the screen.
I'm not really into rap music, but I quite like this one.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tom McDonald, the guy is fake woke.
Does he have bodyguards? Because he probably going to need some bodyguards and some life insurance after this one. Dang. He going at the Cardi? Eminem? We ain't even 30 seconds in. Dang. Cancel culture. He hitting it. Hold on, let me just say this real quick, because I know we're going to watch it. I got to cut it up. Y'all know how it works. They're going to ban me off here. But this dude is not what you would expect him to be like. He got tattoos all over his face and arms and nose rings. He looked worse though.
I'll let you take the rest of that anyway. I just wanted to show you. I thought that was rather good of this guy anyway. So back to Leslie Evans getting the tin tag. I'm not laughing at Leslie Evans getting sacked because she's obviously very sad. Or even though she may have been part of a conspiracy to try and put a man in jail. And I guess you reap what you sow. The head of Scotland Civil Service is faced being ousted over her role in the Alex Salmond affair. Whoa. The Sunday Times has been told that the Permanent Secretary Leslie Evans will be heavily criticised in the report of the Holyrood Committee investigating the Scottish Government's botched handling of the complaints made against the former First Minister. Ministers have been discussing the need for an exit strategy for the 62-year-old who leads more than 5,000 civil servants, and those contract is due to expire in spring next year after nearly 7 years in the post. One informed source said that the SNP MSPs on the committee are preparing to throw her under the bus. Oh, with Nicola Sturgeon is under the bus. Very sad in my arse. Labour is the best option in my catchment. No, don't vote that. Don't vote for Labour either. Vote for in the second vote for the SNP. Not the SNP. Sorry. Vote for the Scottish Libertarian Party or the Scottish Reform Party. Scottish Libertarian if you believe in nationalism in Scotland. Scottish Reform UK Party, and for those who are unionists. So, but get those two, vote for them, and especially in your second vote, guys. That's very important for them. As far as I'm aware, both the Reform Party, Reform UK Party, and the Scottish National Party are in every region as well. And I think Count Dankhill is going to be standing, which is great. And the chief, sorry, wait, I just missed that because I was talking. Preparing to throw her under a bus, just like Nicola Sturgeon. Senior nationalist sources also expect other departures from Nicola Sturgeon's team, with her husband, SNP Chief Executive Morrell, Chief of Staff Liz Lloyd, also tipped to move. Told you who was going. Every one of the ones I said were going to go. The ones that chapped the door outside the Scottish office and told them, named them outside the Scottish office. I think all of those are going to be going anyway, including Nicola Sturgeon. Speculation emerged ahead of Salmond's planned long-awaited appearance before the committee this Wednesday after parliamentary authorities ruled in favour of publishing the evidence he had submitted covering several alleged breaches of the ministerial code by Sturgeon. I would say it was multiple breaches. Rape Crisis Scotland, which is also funded by the government, by Nicola Sturgeon, has warned that the ruling went against legal advice and could leave Parliament open to legal actions. So, Rape Crisis Scotland has been used as a front by the SNP, the Nicola Sturgeon. She's funding it. There's a person who's redacted in the overall conspiracy thing from Nicola Sturgeon. She's like Nicola Sturgeon's woman that then goes to Rape Crisis Scotland, and then they can make quasi-political statements and still endorse the complainers even after they failed at the court. They can now continue to actually make these allegations through Rape Crisis Scotland, even though he's found not guilty, and they're allowed to continue to say about the fact that he's been found not guilty. They're allowed to make these allegations repeatedly, even though there's no case to answer. So where have we got? Under a bus, the chief executive. So chief executive Liz Lloyd tipped for a move. So they don't actually get sacked. They just get moved from one location to another because this is the inner circle. So they don't actually get permanently, you're out the civil servants. They'll get sacked from the position and then moved to another position. I use SNP toilet. You campaign letters as toilet paper. I know it does not guilty mean nothing here. No, it doesn't mean anything. So not only are you not guilty, we can keep our anonymity and still attack you and not being up in any charges if you're part of a conspiracy. So that's like you're now get double jeopardy with allegations of sexual improprieties. These allegations have now not been found to have any merit, shouldn't have been brought forward in the first place, but yet these women can continue to attack Alex Salmond from a place of anonymity and not have to deal with any consequences. Does not guilty. So it doesn't mean anything. The speculation emerged ahead of Salmond's planned long-awaited appearance before the committee this Wednesday after parliamentary authorities ruled in favour of publishing evidence he has submitted covering several alleged breaches of ministerial code by Wee Nippy. It's going to be so much fun. Oh, here are we. Come on, here we go. Case of Scotland has warned the ruling went against the legal advice and could leave Parliament open to legal action. This has been a shit show. Some MSPs believe an attempt may be made to secure an interdict banning the publication to avoid any jigsawing identification, because they do not want you to know who these complainers' ideas, because then links can be made to the internally within the party and directly to Nicola Sturgeon and to people who are in Nicola Sturgeon's cabal, who are connected allegedly to whatever. Predictions for Wednesday. Prediction is that there'll be. I'll try and report from there as well. My prediction is that it's not going to matter. Wednesday, I told you this is what I tried to say to you. Wednesday is about the what do you call it? Report. Wednesday's about the Fabinini inquiry, and the Fabinini inquiry is not the most important one. It's the Hamilton inquiry. So the fact that this is almost like a thing for you as the public, that he's going to come out and actually make these allegations, although they will have some bearing in what is actually said or done and reported on from that inquiry. It's the Hamilton one. I told you this yesterday. This is almost like smoke and mirrors. You should be looking at the Hamilton inquiry, not the Fabinini inquiry, which is where Alex Salmond is going to give his evidence. Could Nippy be one of them? One of judges them. This is illegal. They do what they want. No, they do what they want. Aye, definitely. Where did that go there? Rape crisis Scotland. Right, here we go. So some MSPs believe an attempt may be made to secure an interdict banning publication. So they don't want you, the public, to know about what's in what Alex Salmond is going to say, because it's going to probably prove that Nicola Sturgeon has lied to Parliament. She's not reported, it's not recorded government business, and she was told prior to when she said that she knew about, which I'm going to read the Sun article, which is going to be illuminating after we finish here. This is the one that will smash unbelievable, which led to him being acquitted of sexual harassment charges. So one of the complainants in the trial, which led him to be acquitted of sexual harassment charges, because they are really paranoid about you finding out who these 9 women are and the connection between them and Nicola Sturgeon. And that's how the conspiracy is actually worked. The Scottish Government was forced to admit in 2019 that the application of its new complaints procedure, so they've changed the complaints procedure to go after Nicola Sturgeon, for Nicola Sturgeon to go after Alex Salmond. They weren't able to do that before, but now they changed it so that Alex Salmond could be targeted. And Liz Lloyd did this. I mean, you couldn't write that. Leslie Evans did that and changed the procedure to be able to target the nine accusers, to be able to target Alex Salmond, and Nicola Sturgeon to use them to actually target Alex Salmond. was unlawful, allegedly, was tainted by apparent bias after Salmon challenged it in a judicial review. That was because the Human Resources officially had prior contact with it. So they've contacted the two complainers that were meant to be investigating before being appointed by the government to investigate the allegations. The debacle led to the taxpayer having to pay Salmon £500,000 legal costs in addition to the £118,000 government bill on external legal fees. The policy was implemented, so that's nearly £640,000 a year money, at least. Will Nicola Sturgeon resign? I want to mark it on my calendar so badly. It's not going to happen. She's still got to come before the tribunal, and it won't happen till after she's actually spoken. And there's been some feedback from the Hamilton inquiry, but we should have both of these inquiries out before the election so that we know this. I think so, David, and then the ball, the game changes. Well, this is what I'm about to go on to in the Sun article is a game changer. This guy Dan has done a great job in reporting this. So just bear with me 2 minutes. The policies was implemented just weeks before the two female members of the Scottish Government came forward with the complaints against Mr. Salmon and against the advice of the UK Government. The Cabinet Office said, so everybody's advising, the UK Government's advising Nicola not to do this. The legal entity that's advising Nicola not to do this. And she's like that, stuff him, I'm going to get him, I'm going to get Salmon, I've got 9 witnesses who are all allegedly connected to me, and we are going to get him, and we're going to make damn sure that nobody knows who these 9 women are, and the connection that is back to Nicola Sturgeon and at least 4 civil servants, and obviously the more people in this conspiracy. And the MPs that basically know this. The policy was implemented just weeks before 2 female members of the Scottish Government came forward with complaints against Salmon and against the advice of the UK Government. The Cabinet Office said it was very uncomfortable with the inclusion of a provision allowing harassment complaints against former ministers to be investigated for the first time. There are also concerns that Evans, who earns about £175,000 a year, reported the complaints of these women to prosecutors against the wishes of the women themselves. So these women were like that, I don't want to go forward into court. Maybe that was one of the women that actually dropped out of the criminal trial. So Evans has actually went to prosecutors and told the complaints. So it wasn't the women that went forward. It was Evans that set them up under Nicola Sturgeon, allegedly. And so they didn't want, the women, the actual victims, didn't want to go forward with the complaints procedure to a criminal trial because they might be up for perjury and perverting the course of justice. But Evans forced them to go and complain to the police. Oh, come on. It's definitely not a conspiracy, guys. Definitely not. Nothing to see here. Open and transparent. Where's the magpies? Perjury. Evans is going to get sacked. Nicola husband might be up for perjury. The whole shooting match of this orchestration, alleged orchestration of putting Alex in jail, Alex Salmon, the former First Minister, in jail for the rest of his life, potentially could have died in jail from multiple women who didn't want to come forward, had to get pressurised, that Mr. Morell was pressurising other witnesses down in London to come forward to put more pressure on Alex Salmon. But there's nothing to see here. It's definitely not a conspiracy, all pointing back to Nicola Sturgeon. They should just turn the Parliament into a life-size game. Guess who? Board game. Let's get Colonel Mustard in the lobby. Can Salmon? I'm not reading that out. So, report and complaints of the women to prosecutors against the wishes of the women themselves. You can write it, can you? Some MSPs have been scathing about the performance of Evans, who appeared for a record 4th time at the committee last month. In her second appearance, she said on more than 20 occasions that she could not recall or remember, can't remember, nothing to see here, open, transparent, can't remember though, or have knowledge of, or know the answers to questions committee members were asking. This is obviously the 75 grand of your money that was there to coach the civil servants when speaking to the MPs. Oh my God. Last September, she apologised for misleading the inquiry about a meeting she held with Liz Lloyd, Sturgeon's closest aide. She had told MSPs, so Lloyd will move as well, but it'll look like she's been sacked, but she'll just move to something else, and she won't have actually been sacked. The Sturgeon will keep her close, but just move her, so she'll still be taking your money, but she'll just be in a different role. Because obviously, they've all orchestrated to destroy Alex Salmond and protect Nicola Sturgeon, allegedly. So Nicola Sturgeon will still reward them, but move them. So it looks to the public that they're actually getting sacked, but when they're just getting moved. She had told MSP she was unaware of any role played by the government special advisors in the legal process when Salmond took the SNP government to court. After the Times revealed the Freedom of Information response showed that Evans attended talks with Sturgeon, Lloyd, and legal counsel, she claims she had forgotten about the meeting. Can't remember. Open and transparently, can't remember. Don't have a clue. I was drinking that special Greek ouzo. Blew my head off, can't remember. We're all drinking it. We all simultaneously drank it. And we don't remember anything. It's really blowing our memories. It's like memory bank explosions. It's all finished. Something fishy. Number one. Brain cell among a lot of them. Not one brain cell. Sounds fishy to me. What have you put? They should just turn the parliament into. As always, though, you need to be retarded to be a civil servant. The way they are running things seems like a right way. Oh, guys, man, you kill me. One SNP MSP described the mistake in the harshest complaints procedure as a mess of Leslie Evans' own making. The MSPs said the grave errors have been compounded by poor committee performance by Evans and other mandarins. I guess it's hard to, if you're actually in a conspiracy, to actually make sure you're saying the right things, which gave the impression that they had something to hide. Oh, something to hide. So it's all coming out now, isn't it? Oh, we're openly, transparently hiding these things. Openly and transparently hiding it. We're telling you we're hiding things, and it's not in your interest to know, and we're openly and transparent. Rather than someone to prove it, something to prove, MSPs and all parties have taken exception to what they see as disrespect by the civil servants who have testified an arrogant attitude towards the investigation. Last month, it emerged that the Scottish Government spent more than £50,000 on preparing civil servants to give evidence to the inquiry. Oh dear. Conservative MSP Murdo Fraser, a member of the committee, said, "I've been shocked that some civil servants on telephone dictionary salaries and gold-plated pensions have given the impression that parliamentarians have a cheek to be asking these questions." Oh, Murdo's great. All in the meanwhile, the Greens are smoking mushrooms. Shrooms. The parliamentary secretary displayed arrogance and demonstrated incompetence, evasion, and obfuscation. What happened to transparency, honesty, and integrity? It's very difficult to be transparent, honest, and have integrity if you're trying to orchestrate putting some man in jail. Come on, Murdo, what are you thinking about? we're openly and transparently hiding things. We're honestly going to not remember anything. And we have integrity and loyalty to the First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, and to push forward the trans agenda. And that's it. What's your problem, Murdo? I don't understand. That gross real as fucking idiot. Salmond, who was acquitted of all charges against him in the sexual assault trial last March, has called for Evans to consider her position. So obviously, the former First Minister Alex Salmond watches the Guerilla TV channel. He loves it, and he obviously agrees with me. So he's agreed with me. There's a problem with Lord Advocate James Wolfe. There's problem with all the people that have actually said that is part of this conspiracy. He says that allegedly, he says a former offer of mediation was made to her via his solicitor on April 2018, but that she declined because it's very difficult if you're going to mediate. She's actually taking these people to court and getting you prosecuted. Stop your mediation. I'm not interested in mediation. We're here to sink you and put you in jail, Alex. That she declined. That's even before the idea was put to the two complainants. So Liz Evans declined on their behalf and also told them to go to the police. Come on. Oh no, it's definitely not a setup. Listen, just call me Sherlock. This is definitely not a setup by Nicola Sturgeon. Definitely not. 100%. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Even Taggart can solve this. Just call me Sherlock. Oh dear. Academic, right? Academic, that's what we need. I need an academic in here. Richard Parry on the Centre of Constitutional Change said Leslie Evans had a difficult choice between her duty to the complainants to protect their confidentiality, which she probably knew who they were anyway, and respect their wishes, and to the law, which she forced them to actually go and speak to the police and to report evidence of serious and systematic criminality to the police. Well, it's not been criminal because Alex was found innocent. So there's been no criminality there. The only criminality I can potentially see is if a group of women, predominantly, but not solely, a group of women have tried to make false sexual allegations to destroy a man's life and put him in jail. That's the criminality. Grave Riot's Bobby wants gender reassignment takes fires. Oh dear. I'm just going to start wearing dresses. Even if I can't be spelled out in the procedure, I'm going to wear dresses and still keep my beard and put lipstick on. Even if it hasn't been spelled out in the procedure, the ultimate discretion of the Scottish Government to go to the police against the complainant's wishes remains. Let me just read that again. Even if it hadn't been spelled out in the procedure, the ultimate discretion of the Scottish Government to go to the police against the complainant's wishes remained. So the complainant said, I don't want to go to the police. And Leslie Evans says, we're definitely going. And that's it. I don't care what you want. What? This whole situation falls down as soon as we know who the complainants are, the complainers are, and we find out if this is a conspiracy. Dave, you're laughing, are you? Well, her man put in a women's jail. Will her man be put in a women's jail? Hindsight and outcome of the criminal trial suggests that she probably made a wrong choice. Oh, come on. Hindsight and outcome of the criminal trial suggests she probably made the wrong choice. Oh my God. Or we could put it another way. She was part of an orchestration to destroy Alex Salmon's life and put him in jail, which to me is probably not a wrong choice, but practically criminal. I murdered this guy. Oh, did you, Mr. Valentine? Yeah, it was just the wrong choice. I made the wrong choice. What? That was the wrong choice. I think that. Yeah, oh no, in fact, let me do a better one than that. I lied about this guy to put me in jail. But it was the wrong choice. I made the wrong choice by lying. I shouldn't have lied to put this guy in jail. That was the wrong choice. No, that's criminal. That should be criminal, and you should go to jail. Guerilla Man has brought all of the Red Bull race dogs. Scots have been trans progressive for years. Why else would they wear kilts? Exactly. That's not why we wear kilts, but I can't explain that relation. It's what's under the kilts is a good thing. Under cross-examination, Evans defended her decision to refer the women's complaints to prosecutors, arguing that it had not been easy to reach and that she was very mindful about the effect on the women. Yeah, she's forcing them to go to the police when they don't want to. Oh dear. Why do you think she went to such lengths to get Salmon? Because Salmon was a threat to her, a political threat. Salmon's like Nigel Farage, is a massive political name. And he could have came back and took her on and took her out of the game because she's not been very good. Let's be honest, she's not been very good over the years in Scottish domestic issues. So Alex Salmon was a big enough player to take on Nicola Sturgeon and potentially beat her. But now Nicola Sturgeon's taken out all of Salmon's allies internally in the party. So there's a feud in the party. But Nicola Sturgeon's not very good anyway. Bookies are accepting bets. The next First Minister will have a surname Tuna. It's me. Daphne's going to be the next one. Daphne. A spokesman for the Scottish Government said that it rejects these accusations and attempts to personalise this matter against civil servants who are bound by the requirements of the Civil Service Code to act with integrity, honesty, and impartiality and objectivity. All of which these principles were broken in this circumstance. He added that the Scottish Government have a duty to investigate the serious and specific complaints against Alex Salmon and were right to do so. But it doesn't mean you have to force complainants to go to the police against their will. As set out in detailed evidence to the committee, all government decisions were informed by legal advice that told you not to proceed with this legal complaint and taken in line with the Civil Service Code. Nothing was in line here. In his Sunday Times column today, Kevin Pringle, former SNP Communications Director, says the forthcoming appearance by Salmon and Sturgeon will escalate a crisis without precedent in the country's politics. If the issue hasn't cut through the public consciousness before, it will now. Oh dear. Pillock. Pillock, I like that. I don't know who's the Pillock. Oh, Pillock is the fish. Given the Leslie Evans must report to her boss, the First Minister, it is credible that she undertook all activities involving the Salmon investigation without. Is it credible that she undertook all activities involving the Salmon investigation without Nicola Sturgeon's knowledge? Yeah, no. His answer to that, no. As Evans is a similar territory as Sturgeon. If one goes, so should the other. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Either they tell the truth that they have lied or lie again. Of course they're going to lie. This is what's going to happen. They'll trip over the lies because now they have to lie continually, because they've got to do this. So I'm building up today, guys. This is the big thing coming just now. This is the raison d'etre of today's investigations. Well done. I think it was Dan, what's your name, Dan? Dan Verums. I don't know whether how you pronounce it, Dan. Excellent work, though, as a journalist. Excellent. For my favourite paper, the Scottish Sun. Excellent work by the Scottish Sun. Just for journalism. Nicola Sturgeon faces serious questions over claim she didn't know. I don't know anything. She didn't know nothing. Forgot. Genuinely forgot. We've all forgot simultaneously about things. Don't know. Wait a minute. We're getting coached. To make these questions. So the coach said, "Just say you forgot." Brilliant. That's definitely worth the 50 grand of taxpayers' money that we spent to coach the civil servants in front of the committee. Fantastic, well done. Lies to cover up lies, to cover up lies, to cover up lies. That's correct. Know about harassment allegations against Alex Salmond. So Dan Vivers, 20th of February 2021. A parliamentary rulebook. Oh, there's me nippy there. A parliamentary rulebook that would have let Nicola Sturgeon know immediately of any harassment claims was changed. Listen to this. Was changed just weeks after allegations against Alex Salmond we can reveal. So let me, because this is highly significant. This no one's in bold. A parliamentary rulebook, parliamentary rulebook that would have let Nicola Sturgeon know immediately of any harassment claims was changed just weeks after allegations against Nicola Sturgeon we can reveal. So they changed the rules so that she didn't know, or she did know, that would have let Nicola Sturgeon know immediately of any sexual harassment. So she was then taken out of the picture. She didn't have to know of these complaints. No, that doesn't look sus at all. The First Minister faced serious questions over her claims that she didn't know about any harassment allegations against Mr. Salmond for 5 months. So let me read that again. The First Minister faced serious questions over her claim she didn't know about harassment allegations against Mr. Sturgeon for 5 months. So they changed the rules to prevent her knowing. Genius. Nicola Sturgeon is facing pressure over her knowledge of harassment allegations against her predecessor, Alex Salmond. It came after we uncovered papers showing a key change was made to proposed rules for handling complaints, taking the First Minister out of the loop. So she doesn't want to know. I don't want to know if Alex Salmond is getting prosecuted. We've already changed the rules to actually allow the First Minister, former First Minister, to be prosecuted by these claims. So that's one rule change. And we're also changing the rules so it takes the First Minister out of the loop. So she doesn't need to know. She doesn't need to know about the allegations against our minister, the former First Minister, months before. The initial draft drawn up in November 2017 of a policy from dealing with staff issues said Ms. Sturgeon should be told about any accusations that involve former First Ministers. But the Scottish Sun on Sunday can reveal the wording was altered a month later to state that she should only be informed about an investigation after it's finished. I don't want to know about this investigation. We've just changed the rules to make sure we can prosecute Alex Salmond because that wasn't allowed. And I don't want to know about it until after it's finished. Just keep me out of the loop. Keep me off the Viet Cong WhatsApp group. Keep me out of the loop. I don't want to know. Well, we'll change the rules in that as well. Nothing to see. Open and transparent. It's definitely not a conspiracy. 100%. Definitely not. Open and transparent. Can't remember magpies. Nicola fingers in her ears singing la la la. If this could happen to Salmond, what the F could happen to the likes of us? Anything, mate. Anything could happen to you. You are absolute small fry. The switch was confirmed days after a meeting between the SNP Supremo and her top civil servant, Leslie Evans. Oh, there's Leslie Evans coming again. Oh, fantastic. Described as secret by, Scots Tory leader Douglas Ross, and omitted from the omitted. Of course it is. That's probably why they can't remember, because everything's been omitted. Meetings have been omitted. This has been omitted. Everything's just omitted. No government. Although it's meant to be recorded. Oh, I can't remember. It's omitted. I know we're meant to take records of it, but we've just omitted it from the official government timelines. Our revelations come with the First Minister under fierce scrutiny over whether she misled the public and MSPs by saying she only found out about the internal probe in April 2018. Rivals insist that the timeline suggests that she may have been aware of the complaints far earlier than she claimed. Mr. Ross hit out, there are now even more serious questions about Nicola Sturgeon knew about the allegations against Alex Salmond and whether it's plausible that she was really in the dark. This is it coming unstuck. I told you, we're now getting closer and closer. The knives are all going in, or not the knives, should I say. This is everything coming back to catch up with her. When you've lied and tried to deceive the public and think you're cleverer than the actual public, and when the orchestration was quite well done. But I mean, when you're playing against a heavy political hitter like Alex Salmond and also clued up individuals, then this is it coming unstuck. And it shouldn't say nice and back, it's coming unstuck. The lies are coming unstuck. My dog eats crap faster than this situation. I know, but it's like an onion. It's unraveling a piece at a time. That's why we can't, or I can't say when the actual wheel will come off the actual car, because the bolts are coming out bolt by bolt by bolt, and this is just another huge bolt in this. So if they find out that this is correct, that we already know they've just gerrymandered the whole regulations to actually get Alex Salmond now as well, which is also absolutely massive as well. So they've changed it so they could prosecute Alex Salmond, and they changed it to keep the rules to keep Nicola outside the loop to protect Nicola Sturgeon. Oh, come on, just for this whole orchestration. And the Lib Dem, Alec Cole-Hamilton, said, you have to be very bold civil servant to decide not to notify the First Minister of these allegations at a time when the changes to the complaints procedure, which took her out of the loop, had not been completed. Alright, so that had not been completed. I don't know, I wasn't in the loop. We changed the loop to take me out. I don't want to know about these complaints that might be all behind actual orchestrating. Want me out the loop? Take me out the loop. Not interested in being any loops. Mr. Cole-Hamilton is a member of the Scottish Parliamentary Committee examining the government's botched handling of complaints against the ex-First Minister, Alex Salmond. Miss Sturgeon is expected to give evidence to the cross-party committee of MSPs in the next fortnight. Let's kick it down the road. Let's do it in December 2050. Would that be a good time for you? Will we still be sitting there? Let's get Nicola Sturgeon December 2050. Oh, plenty of time for that. Don't worry about that. And Leslie Evans there's Leslie Evans again. And she may now have to explain her involvement in the new policy on handling allegations from parliamentary employees, which was started in the wake of the Me Too campaign. Sturgeon met the top civil servants, Leslie Evans, days before the wording of the policy for handling staff issues was changed. Documents show 8 drafts of the planned rule book were drafted up in November 2017 by James Hind, the government's head of cabinet, parliamentary and governance. Initially, they agreed the NAC chief had a right to be told of complaints against ex-ministers, which they weren't allowed to do before, but they've now brought it in. the most deepest question to ask is all of this. Why has she gone to all these lengths to fabricate false allegations? What threat was Salmon? Well, Salmon wasn't an immediate threat to her. It wasn't an immediate threat because he was sort of going away. He was going to become the head of Johnston's Press, which covers a whole different bunch of periodicals. So he would have remained powerful because he would have been basically controlling the media, or sizable part of the media, which would have given him a lot of power in itself. But Alex Salmond is just like Nigel Farage. He's such a individual, heavy political hitter that he could have come back and if he was still in the SNP, he could have come back at any point and challenged Nicola Sturgeon if she wasn't doing a good job, which she's just clearly not been doing a good job. The allegations against Mr. Salmond were made over the phone to a top official on the 7th or 8th, but he was out of politics predominantly though. Alex Salmond was out of politics predominantly by a woman later known as Miss B. Ms. Evans, the permanent secretary, was informed of the call on Ms. B. Misbehave of the call on November the 9th. The second woman, known as Ms. A, raised her concerns between November the 20th and the 22nd. She first met Ms. Sturgeon, principal private secretary John Somers, then told two other civil servants. Nicola Sturgeon is alleged to have breached 4 aspects of the code by which she must abide. The Holyrood inquiry into the government's botched harassment investigation of Mr. Salmond in 2018 is examining as part of the wider remit whether the First Minister broke the ministerial code. But that question is also being separately and specifically investigated by James Hamilton QC, Ireland's former Director of Public Prosecutions. His report is expected in the coming weeks. Section 1.3 of the Ministerial Code says ministers who knowingly mislead Parliament will be expected to offer their resignation. A key complaint by Mr. Salmond against Ms. Sturgeon, if she resigns, her deputy John Sweeney would assume the head of government, although he's implicated in this as well, role in the short term. Mr. Salmond claims the First Minister breached the Ministerial Code by, drumroll, misleading Parliament about when she first learned about the harassment complaints against him, failing to record the meeting with Mr. Salmond, which were government business, not notifying civil servants about the talks in good time with Ms. Sturgeon, taking 2 months to inform Permanent Secretary Leslie Evans of her discussions with Mr. Salmond, failing to act on warnings that an expensive legal battle against Mr. Salmond was doomed to fail, contrary to the code pledge that the ministers should comply with the law. Mr. Salmond also branded the leaks of Miss Evans' final report on the complaints to the tabloids newspapers as a criminal act, which he believes came from within the government, i.e. Nicola Sturgeon. Woof! So we're up to date. So Ms. Summers later denied under oath to the Hamilton inquiry that they informed either the First Minister or the Permanent Secretary. So Mr. Summers later denied under oath to the Holyrood inquiry that he informed either First Minister or Permanent Secretary. Then, on the 29th of November, senior officials on orders from the government personal boss, Nicola Richards, contacted both women again. The same day, Ms. Evans met Ms. Sturgeon, Mrs. Morell, to discuss proposals for a new policy on the handling of harassment complaints involving the current or former ministers, just to set them up. What direction of the SNP Nicola Sturgeon could not be seen to be behind the hit job, or she would lose the actual nationalist. Yeah, it's not about even this. I mean, I think this is criminal now. I think we're well past even the sacking stage. I think this is criminal, and the setting up of people for false sexual allegations, and it should be seen, and orchestration of this should be seen as a separate criminal act, and there should be bills passed for that. The same day, Mr. Evans met Ms. Sturgeon to discuss proposals for the new policy on the handling of harassment complaints involving current or former First Ministers. So they've gerrymandered the rules just to get Alex Salmond. This allegedly, this meeting is not mentioned in the timeline. Right, it's not. The government provided to the Holyrood inquiry, laying out how the rules were developed. The timeline has no entries listed from the 24th of November to the 12th of December, but details of the get together are buried in 120 pages. Open record of pleadings from Mr. Salmond's successful judicial review. The court file does not name Ms. Sturgeon or Ms. Evans, Mrs. Morell, but refers to them as first respondent and interested party. The November 4th, 2017 news. Sky News approaches the Scottish Government about Alex Salmond alleged conduct with women at Edinburgh Airport. Permanent Secretary Leslie Evans told Nicola Sturgeon about the media inquiry. November 7th and 8th, complainer Ms. B first makes allegations against Mr. Salmond to Barbara Allison, the government's Director of Communications. November the 9th, Ms. Allison tells Ms. Evans. November 7th and 10th, the first draft of new harassment policy for former ministers is circulated, written by top official James Hind. It states that if the former minister is a member of the party in power, the First Minister will be informed of any complaint. November the 13th and 15th, so let me read that again because that's actually quite significant. November 7th and 10th, the first draft of a new harassment policy for former ministers is circulated, written by top official James Hind. It states that if the former minister is a member of the party in power, the First Minister will be informed of any complaints. November 13th, 15th, in emails with senior civil servants, Mr. Hind states officials would need to alert the First Minister if there was a complaint against a current minister because she want to know straight away. November 20th to 22nd, second complainer Ms. A raises concern about Mr. Salmond to Ms. Sturgeon. Principal Private Secretary John Summers, he refers her to Ms. Allison. Everybody's referring to each other, nobody can make a decision. And Director of Safe Communities Gillian Russell. Man, there's a hell of a lot of women in this. A fifth draft of Hind policy delegates authority to the Permanent Secretary to investigate complaints, but makes clear that the First Minister should be alerted. It is sent to Ms. Sturgeon. So that means that she must have been notified at that point then. November 20th to 24th. November 29th, Ms. Russell contacts Ms. A and Ms. Allison contacts Ms. P. Ms. Russell tells Ms. A she has sent her narrative to Director of People, Nicola Richards, and Ms. A says she wants to speak directly to the First Minister. As Ms. Richards meets Ms. Evans, who separately has a summit with Ms. Sturgeon to discuss. There we go. To discuss. Maybe that's just it. Miss Evans separately has a summit with Miss Evans to discuss. All right. December the 1st, Mr. Hines sends his 8th harassment policy draft to Miss Richards, who says she wants to test it with some key individuals. She later admitted to sharing the draft procedure with a complainer. Is this going to be okay for you to get your complaint through? Oh dear. Miss Richards redrafts the procedure to remove the First Minister. All right, just make sure the First Minister's out from the complaints process regarding former ministers. She completed this draft at the 11:34 p.m. on the December the 5th. December the 20th, Nicola Sturgeon signs off the new policy. I bet she does. January 16th to 23rd, 2018, Ms A and Ms B makes formal complaints under the new procedure, with Judith McKinnon, another one of the conspirators, assigned as investigating officer, allegedly officer, despite having prior contact with the complainers. A move later admitted in court was unlawful. February 26th to 22nd to 26th, Miss McKinnon provides Miss Evans with an initial investigations report. March 9th, according to Mr. Salmond, written evidence he was contacted by his former Chief of Staff, Jeff Aberdeen, telling him the complaints against him. March 29th, Mr. Aberdeen meeting with Miss Sturgeon in her parliamentary office. The First Minister has since conceded allegations of a sexual nature were discussed, but she says she had forgotten. I forgot about this conversation and it was opportunistic. Mr. Salmond says it was simply untrue. Mr. Salmond meets on the 2nd of April. Mr. Salmond meets Miss Sturgeon at her home, where the First Minister claims she first learned of the complaint against him. She further claims she believed the meeting to be party business rather than government business, which is why she didn't inform civil servants about it, as would have been required under the ministerial code. I'd like to make an allegation against Cranky for harassing me with the EU-SSR rag above Parliament. It says the pair discussed development of the proposed procedure on the same day as one complainer said she wanted to speak directly to the First Minister. Then on December the 5th, an overnight change was made by another top servant, which saw the rules altered to say the government leader should be kept in the dark about any allegations. Don't tell Nicola. She's going to undo this. She's kept out. Keep her out of the WhatsApp groups as well. Don't any leads back to Nicola if she's orchestrating allegedly. Miss Sturgeon signed off on the updated policy 2 weeks later. Both Miss A and Miss B then issued formal complaints under the new rule book in January 2018. Tory Chief Mr. Ross, the women who came forward were failed. It looks like they're doing everything they set it up, changing the rules, etc., etc. The women who came forward were failed by unforgivable errors. These revelations had uncovered another glaring flaw in the government's procedure. In the government's process, there was 4-week window where the First Minister could have been involved in the investigation. Then that suddenly changed overnight after a secret meeting the SNP tried to hide. Women bravely came forward with serious complaints that should have been investigated properly, but instead they were badly let down, and the SNP shouldn't tell us, the SP won't tell us what really happened. Mr. Cole-Hamilton added that James Hind's proposed process made clear that the First Minister could expect to be alerted straight away. It was only later that she signed off on the procedure that insulated her from the process, playing out just outside her office. Nothing to see here. I don't want to know. Sexual offences are against my friend Alex Salmond. I don't want to know about them. Don't want to know. Keep me out of this. I like the bombshell Alex Salmond evidence accusing Nicola Sturgeon of lying to Parliament will be published. The Labour Party, Scottish Labour interim leader Jackie Baillie who also sits in the Holyrood inquiry. These revelations demand straight answers from the First Minister. The committee will uncover what role she had in the fiasco and get to the truth so that these mistakes are never repeated again. The government internal investigation into the women's allegations was declared unlawful in January 2019 after Salmond appealed for a judicial review. The Court of Session, Judge Lord Pentland, ruled it had been tainted by apparent bias, or it could have been a conspiracy. The verdict, allegedly, straddled taxpayers with a bill of more than £600,000 for legal fees alone. MSPs looking at the actions of the First Minister and officials in dealing with the complaints. They will also examine whether Ms Sturgeon broke the ministerial code during the probe or with her statement about what she knew. She stated she first learned of the complaints after Mr Salmond at her house on April 2nd, 2018. We asked the government to account for why the high-level November 29 meeting was omitted from its timeline and it was trying to keep it secret. A spokesman told us that it was normal for not all conversations and meetings to be minuted. He added the government has set out why the procedure for investigating complaints against the former First Minister was created and that was not directed at any individual. But fortuitously enough, it just happened when before allegations of sexual improprieties were levelled at Alex Salmond. And nothing to see here. Government witnesses, including the Permanent Secretary, have given detailed evidence to the committee, which you can't remember. Can't remember all of this. Oh, can't remember. We've got coach, but I can't remember anything. I think that's what the coach said to me to say. When she was informed of complaints against Mr. Salmond, she continues to look forward to giving evidence sometime away in the future. We don't know when. Run away. She continues to look, maybe after the election, look forward to giving evidence to the committee. Last March, a jury cleared Mr Salmond of any sexual improprieties of assaulting 9 women, which shouldn't have been brought forward in the first place, following a criminal trial at the Edinburgh High Court where Les Lesens had to pressurise 2 of the complainers from internally within the court system to go to the police. And that's it. What else we got here? Nicola told to resign, petition to oust SNP leader Sturgeon's disgrace to Scotland. That's in the Express. I'm not going to read that though. What's that? Paul Withers, by Paul Withers. And this one, it looks like she's outside Auschwitz. Is Sturgeon teetering between hubris and paranoia? And this was on the 21st of February 2021. I'll read those 2 later on, guys. I'm going to leave it to there because I know it's getting late. You've done very well in sticking with me for this period of time. And I love my baby gorillas. You know I love you so much. You guys are the best. So, let me just get out of here. How do you get this out? Your channel. Hubris and paranoia. Let's get here. Let's go to go live. And let's call it a night. Guys, go to your bed. Thanks for sticking with me. Love my baby gorillas.